I was taught to love the human condition, and we live in a country that should celebrate the human condition, so I'm driven on pushing that until we have equity and equality for everyone. Yeah, so again, Nadine Bridges, I use she, her pronouns. I'm currently 4 months into being the executive director of One Colorado. I've been doing advocacy work, social justice work, youth work for over 20 years now. Started out doing work in Peace Corps. I came back to the States and taught for a little while in Charleston, South Carolina, and then decided to get my master's degree in social work, in community leadership and organizing, and a certificate in working with Latinx populations. And since then, I've just pretty much been doing stuff in community. I've been working with first-generation students. Took a 2 years detour and went into government, working in public health. And then community actually reached out to me when the job opportunity came out from One Colorado, so I applied, and now I'm here. So One Colorado is the largest LGBTQ advocacy organization in the state of Colorado. And we started out almost 10 years ago, really pushing for marriage equality. We've also done a lot on youth rights, on ensuring anti-bullying in schools. We pushed through Jude's Law last year, ensuring a fast track and name changes for the transgender community. And so we do a lot of advocacy work, policy work. In addition, we have a youth in schools program where we have a GSA Leadership Council that partners with our youth in schools manager to kind of inform the work that we're doing, as well as to make sure that we are providing pro-social, social-emotional programs, GSA leadership programs for any school in the state. What I really loved was working with youth and young adults. Youth and young adults they're the foundation for our future. And I don't think I would be as courageous. I don't think I would dress as fly. I don't think I would smile as hard if it wasn't for the youth and the pride that they had. You know what I mean? They're the ones that really pushed me out of my comfort zone, got me to see me for me. And that's what I loved about it. I've had a lot of obstacles. I think the first is there's addiction in my family. My mom left when I was 9, and I never saw her again. So that was probably one of the biggest things for me to deal with growing up, was learning about addiction and the impacts that it can have on community. My mom was a beautiful woman, and yet she could not balance her life with addiction. And the best thing she did for us was to give my brother and I to my dad to create stability. I think from there, my parents, so when I say my parents, it's my stepmom and my dad, they moved us to a small town where we were the only black family. And, my family's half black and half Portuguese. And so it was an interesting dynamic between my siblings, my stepsister and stepbrother who are white, me and my brother who are black, and my little sister who's mixed. And, trying to navigate this town in Acushnet, Massachusetts, where people made assumptions about us, my brother and I. They put these stereotypes on us, and that was hard. And it probably took me until college to really like myself as a black person, to not live up to assumptions about who I am, but to really live in me. And that's probably why I love social work so much, because I was able to learn about, my dad taught me this history and this context, but I never really understood my own accountability in that. So I really started to dig down deep around what white supremacy meant, how I was a part of white supremacy, what did I needed to do to kind of eradicate that out. And that's when I started to break any obstacles in my way, was to be accountable, to start questioning myself in this, how I'm moving through it, and not to let other folks get in the way of what I know is right around this idea of human condition and love. Pride means to me, again, it's that ability to be proud of who you are, to be able to stand tall, know that you have power, your voice. It means connecting with all communities. I think the thing that I love about the LGBTQ community is that we're not a monolith. We are representative of every identity in every corner, anywhere, which means we have the ability, the opportunity to kind of translate our commonalities for strength and leadership for other people to follow. And I love that. And to me, that is all pride. Like, I think that our ability to like love and connect and create change is like, it's beautiful. And I've seen things in this last year, in the most tender and vulnerable time of I think of many of our lives. I've seen the power of love and connection, and when people really see the impact of being vulnerable and not having a safety net does to our communities, and the fact that they're standing up, and not just people within community, within identity, but other folks too. I mean, we can make change, and that might be super cotton candy land and idealist, but I think we just need to keep walking together and creating space and stability for us to thrive, because it's about time for us to thrive. It's okay for you to fly your freak flag and do the things you need to do, because at the end of the day, you'll be standing on your hill and feeling powerful. And that's by far more important, to be in love with yourself than in love with the message that other people want you to be.